that's whenever you need to be afraid. Because that's whenever they really want to waste your fucking money. Gameplay is usually fun. That's how they get you into them. Yeah, exactly. This game has no PvP. Yeah, I know. It's probably going to be good then. Right? And so I've never spent a dime on gacha microtransactions. Have you seen the new Wuthering Waves character showcase? No, but I heard about it. But yeah, like the finishers are pretty good. Like I would say, I mean, with a lot of these games, like to me, the only thing that I care about with video games is good gameplay. Like that's literally the only thing that matters to me. Everything else besides gameplay is like really pretty much irrelevant. And so when I see this kind of stuff and I look at it and I'm like, okay, well,
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Right.
Don't have to be
this gameplay
to find the magic in this world. But it does help.
And so like I'll play a game that has like bad monetization with good gameplay, but I will never play a bad game with a game with bad gameplay. Never. See Cartavia preview? Yeah, I'll look at it. Give me a second. Sure. I think Wuthering Waves has better gameplay. Honestly, I think you're right.
The multiverse offers endless possibilities.
I think Wuthering Waves gameplay for this is probably better. And I think like really, it's going to be hard to beat that.
Get ready.
Does it? Yeah, I think so.
I thought you were supposed to be.
Yeah, I do think so.
Richards.
I've heard that said before.
This game's world shits on Wuthering Waves, though? Yeah, it does.
I'm scanning your thoughts right now, and not one of
yeah,
them
like the world building is like insane for this.
Reading a quantum equation.
The battle starts
This is so
in
good.
5,
Yeah, this is the.
4,
let me see if I can pull
3,
this up and
2,
find it. Like, but yeah, this is fucking insane. Like, look at some of these images. Oh my god.
A shame that these
help get
Yeah,
that
that's
vehicle to its
awesome.
destination.
Digital games are all shit. The thing is that I don't know what do you mean? None of these games are shit. It's just they have shit monetization. That's the issue. Like the games themselves, I think are really good. You know, Rip Genshin forever.
You're not going anywhere.
It is kind of funny to go back and look at Genshin Impact and then compare it to some of the newer games. Because like, yeah, it is definitely a lot different. Let me see if I can find it. Copy paste, yeah, definitely. So this is the gameplay of the new character you want me to look at. This is from another game. I pay $70 for this, so I'm not playing a gacha. Yeah, yeah, okay, well, there it is. And it's insane. The character looks really cool, but
why is Will scared?
that fucking god, the volume on this
Against the world.
And anyway, yeah, so much better. It's the bigger moves. So the majority of the game, it's dumb, right? And so pretty much this is how it works, is that there's like her soul is split in half, and like half of her is this like kind of this girl here, and then half of her is like, and well, the evil version. So there's like a what's the word for it? Like like an evil demon, like a demon overlord that is that's the one that's controlling the like right? Yeah, exactly, right? That's the actual name of the game, right? But nobody knows what the fuck that means. And so like think of it as like an arch demon that's like controlling them. And so like yeah, that's basically it. Multiple personalities like most women. Yeah. Yeah, basically, and I feel like this is pretty predictable. Like as I said, I thought anybody could have assumed that this was what the game was going to be. Bigger Buddha equals stronger character. Well, I mean, that's actually true. Yeah, you're right. It's like this and Archives in the field. In my opinion, just makes it like Sub-Zero and I'd say Genshin even.
point. Keep up the momentum.
气贯长虹。
Chaos control. Stay close to us, Spider Zero. That's better.
Trying to explain that to you. How does it
I like
enhance
the
the
cold.
experience when you can't pick up objects, when you can't touch the walls, you can't interact with doors, you can't move around your house? It doesn't. Oblivion to the same genre, using many of the same systems, yet they feel light years ahead in interactivity. We're not allowed to compare it. And why is that? Because it makes a valid look bad? That's the entire point. If a game
That's
is
the entire reason why they
Keep an
don't
eye on this
compare
spot.
this to the other game that's better, because then that will make this game look bad. That's exactly right.
Under my spell.
Yep, that's it.
Maybe the problem isn't the comparison, maybe the problem is the game itself. They have to go to. Yesterday I saw Red pop up, they were talking about me in my video on about. Real life. Your opinion, not being the majority opinion. You don't like it's not gaming this way. If they're not agreeing with it. It's that simple. I just
Fate
got done
isn't
with the
sealed
video
yet.
reviewing the code of the game and saying they should expect more from themselves. Honestly,
Rise, my
why
friend!
does it have to be the best game ever?
Second
Why can't it be
chances.
a good
Under my
job?
spell.
People fucking suck, and I'm sad, and I'm over it, man. The top comment read, I played this game,
Rest
I
easy
beat
now.
the game,
You've
I had
earned it.
fun. Like, why why does everybody need to tell you
Won't
that
fail
you
you,
had fun?
Spider Zero.
Why can't you just decide that for yourself? These are people like, nobody's telling me. Everybody's saying I'm having fun the wrong way. This isn't fair. They do, and that's why they're the same group of people in the virtue signals. This is what I said. If you want to get rid of the virtue signalers and the people who are trying to put this because everything is about the approval. They don't care about anything other than optics. And this is what matters to them. If everybody thought this was but they can't be happy playing the validation
Won't
of
fail you, Spider Zero.
气贯长虹。
That's
What we're
better.
seeing is a global level slide into extreme partisan rhetoric fueled by both organic and inorganic media algorithms. The same mechanism accelerating divisive politics, leading into every aspect of life.
Don't
I
turn
love
that
how you
down.
can say that on a Reddit that bans
Rise, my friend.
The doctor has called you reporter. We must get
And this Reddit,
Second chances.
people for having agreed disagreements because this is
nice
this is
different world.
the correct way that you can disagree. Reddit's the most organic place ever. Yes, exactly. Like, I had fun with the game. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just do that?
Some rejuvenation would be nice.
Keywords, trending rhetoric, and viral talking points.
My
You can
work
find
here
them
is
or
not
some
done.
variation thereof in every form of online discourse. I'm not arguing any vast
That's true.
conspiracies, only saying it's an evolving consequence of
This time I
destabilizing
need
global
healing.
socioeconomics combined with
Fear that. That's better. Get that vehicle moving again.
this isn't community college. You don't need to do this.
Only 60 seconds left.
New technology that has allowed propaganda and echo chambers to spread like wildfire. To clarify further, I'm not saying that all criticism of this game or others is invalid.
Won't fail you, Spider
Always
Zero.
existed and is absolutely legitimate. It's only the hyperbolic hatred using all the same keywords that is nothing but a
Stronger already.
the world who preyed on, monetize, and utilize human capacity for
Down to 30 seconds.
They've always used powerful products to make the market.
Double KO.
one of our opponents. Maybe this isn't some global conspiracy, but there's just a lot of people who disagree with it.
I'll sketch you up.
气贯长虹。
Final 10 seconds.
Lighting this probe.
No, man. Big words for small.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Let's
exact kind of awful
I'm opening a
self-defeating
portal.
discourse that is poisoning gaming culture and the industry. Someone reads a title, listens to 1 minute of a video, and goes flying into an echo chamber and
you
share
can't
praise
expect
for
them
their
all.
raw opinion. Nothing in this entire thread disproves anything that I said. Not one point. Instead of actually addressing any of my arguments, they go straight to political straw men, painting me as a right-wing agitator or anti-woke.
Every time, bro. Every time. This is like whenever. These are like people that play online shooter games, and every time they lose, it's because they were playing against an aimbotter. Oh, he had a map hack. Yeah, of course.
You can comfortably dismiss my opinion without actually
Pick
having
your
to
hero.
engage with it.
Yeah.
Because
Or villain,
if you don't
I'm
slap
not
a label
judging.
on me
You
first,
don't
then
have
you
to
might
be a
actually have to
witch to
consider
find the
that
magic
I,
in this
like many
world.
others,
But
just
it does
didn't
help.
enjoy the game.
Yeah,
Here's the
imagine
thing, I don't talk about politics. I don't care about identity wars. I don't make videos talking about DEI, and that's one of the reasons why people like watching my videos in the first place. The only anti-thing I am is anti-bad games, and that video that I had made was about Avowed, a game that felt lifeless, that lacked interactivity, and it was a game that failed to meet my expectations as a fan of this genre. But these people can't process that. They can't seem to accept that somebody might just not like the game, so they have to invent some entirely different
I've
narrative,
watched
one where they are
entire
noble
realities
warriors defending
consumed by
against some
chaos.
political
I won't
invasion.
let that happen again.
This is exactly right. It's the Reddit.
30
the,
seconds
like,
before you attack. Get ready.
You're fighting against fascism by tweeting about it.
Belonging.
It's so exhausting. It's so just unbelievably exhausting. Chibi, thanks for the 10 subs, man. I appreciate it. I hope the legal thing is going well for you. I saw there was posts. Glad
Someone
to see people
implanted a
defending
code
you.
in your brain,
And,
didn't they?
calling out the
The
bullshit.
battle starts in 5, 4,
Tell
3,
themselves that any criticism
2,
of a game is
1.
part of some orchestrated culture.
All you need
or
to
is
do
it
is capture the mission
possibly
area.
be that
Got
somebody
it?
just has independent thoughts about a game.
After all
This
this
is the
time,
exact same kind
it's
of
nice
mindset
to
that is
finally
hurting game
have some
development
help
today. Instead
saving
of
the
confronting valid
universe.
criticism head on, developers and their most vocal supporters are retreating into defensive narratives, dismissing critics as toxic, politically
Of course,
motivated,
you found
or
us.
somehow disingenuous. They are unwilling to
It's
listen
all
to
a conspiracy.
actual feedback that can actually help them improve. So instead, they settle for reinforcing the same echo chambers that got them where they
Looks like
are.
the mission area is yours to capture now.
Survive is in their little protected reservation.
How was that for a trick,
100%
Loki?
Who's like it's like a little protected space. So it's dangerous.
People to watch my critique. They saw it out themselves. They got angry when it didn't reinforce their own opinion. Nothing in that Reddit
Tail
any
end.
point that I made. Not a single comment, not one of them offered a counter argument explaining why Avowed's design decisions were good. Not one justified why basic interactivity has been strictly
stronger already.
and how that was acceptable. Instead, they made a conversation about me and content creators because it's easier to
Leave the magic
messenger.
to the grown-ups, Leon.
Trophies!
When criticism
It's easier to talk about a person than to talk about an idea. And that's really what it comes
Now, a
down to. I
disappearing
think more than anything.
cannot be engaged with
help me
honestly
heal?
when people go out of their way to label or dismiss anybody who disagrees with them. All they are doing is insulating development.
Just a minute. Somebody said Aslan is biased towards Eastern games. How is he defending
Goodbye. For now.
You want to dragon hit you regardless. But don't make me. Yeah, you're right. You're a wrong opinion.
I suppose that
Fate
helps.
isn't sealed.
Now, a disappearing act.
Developers from
Probably
reality.
ban.
This isn't just passive discourse, it's actively sabotaging the future of
Yeah.
game design. If nobody is allowed to point out what doesn't work, how are things ever supposed to get better? This
don't
kind of
want to.
defensive discourse sends mixed signals to
You
the
captured
developers
more than
and
half
creates an
of the mission
environment
area.
where studios
Keep
have no
going.
idea who their audience is. Because when people defend it,
Goodbye.
defending it, they
Watch me go!
contrarian, they aren't helping you. They're destroying you. This is exactly how we get games that are made for no one. Developers start
I think that also another big problem games that they'll have certain types of like culture ideologies in
Glad
them,
to help.
but they don't actually like when the game actually
recharge.
goes on sale. Not on sale, but when the game is now being sold, well, they never have so like they can virtually signal about how much they like this game and how good this game is, but they never played it. They never had any opinion.
Your fate is sealed.
but they're not actually
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Control law.
looking for validation. That's how we ended up with games like
they're not even part of your audience.
Render me
They're
assistance.
not even part of it.
Leave the magic to the grown-ups, Ileana.
Lost records? Yeah, exactly. Lost sales.
Controversy, Slogan, Dragon Age Discord, games made for Twitter Discord, not games fun, Look at the ridiculous priorities that make it into modern games today. Games designed around whether or not you're dead
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Bro, millennial games design. You can't break a barrel, but you can head it all.
Developers are spending time designing pointless, theme-based mechanics instead of actually refining their games. One of the most common demands that we've seen over the last couple of years. Is the game that beats up the dog? Female characters so sexualized. Baldur's Gate 3 would have done better if it was an RPG. Elden Ring needs a difficulty slider, and it has an accessibility problem. These aren't real design for these are visual. These are demands from people that engage with gaming as a conversation piece, not as a hobby. Developers
Powers of mine! This is real firepower!
Your fate is
Character
sealed.
is sexualized, that means they're not fat and ugly.
sit back and wonder why their games don't sell.
Yeah.
Criticism is necessary. It's how this industry improves. It's how bad design gets corrected and good design evolves. But the second you start insulating a game from criticism, the second you start to punish people
I may
for
be
legitimate
powered by
complaints, you aren't
chaos,
protecting
but
the
I'm
game.
trying to
You're
bring a
ensuring that
bit
the
of
next one is
order
going
to
to
the
be even
universe.
worse. You know, not too long ago, I was bringing up how people are so afraid of criticism today. So many people are afraid of any type of negative discourse whatsoever. That
30
oftentimes you see
seconds
somebody
before
over
you
on
attack.
Twitter put out
Get
their
ready.
opinion, and if it gets rejected or criticized in any
delete the
way,
tweet.
well, they'll go protected or
Let
they'll
us
delete their
show
account.
these so-called heroes what mutant kind is truly capable of.
It's like people go like,
We've done this
they're like,
dance
all right,
so
I'm
many
turning off
times.
replies
It's
because all the
exhausting.
Nazis found my
I
post.
suppose you'd
And
rather
like, what's
just
your
buy
original post?
between
I
them.
hate white people. Okay.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3,
For sure, yeah.
2, 1.
God, you really got the Nazis
All you
riled
need
up
to do
with
is
this one,
capture the
didn't
mission
you?
area. Got it?
That writer
It
that
took us a
everybody
long
likes to
time
hate,
to learn
listener
our powers
McConaughey,
and
she
relate.
posted talking about how
must make this
anybody that
territory
was
ours.
criticizing about, or some of the people they're criticizing about, aren't adding anything meaningful to the industry.
You're not
I
going
commented
anywhere.
back simply saying that that's funny because they're actually contributing with their money, which is likely the
Here they come now.
most important contribution of all, and success. These are the kind of opinions that are taken.
That's better.
Game developers will always lean towards their fans because
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
or their network.
Behold that child!
These people have done a very good job. You know, the facade
The mission area is yours.
is done, right?
Armed and dangerous!
These people actively misrepresented what the fan base was. And they actively tried to gaslight developers, studios, publishers into thinking that actually you are under my popular game. You have to make it, you know, like loud audience of people.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Why don't they
My
play
fate
video
isn't
games?
sealed.
And where is
Goodbye
your mainstream?
for now.
Criticizing your games, if you're being protected
Parents, they succeeded?
from a while,
lost.
that are trying to criticize your games, well, then your audience is going to get smaller and smaller each passing year.
They do.
If you're down to the point where you have to have your fan base out there telling people not to compare a $70 AAA full-price game to games made over a decade
I'm
ago,
much better now.
you're in a real bad place. Yeah. You're in a very, very bad place. Please, guys, don't
You're
look at
right
the
there.
17-year-old. No. This isn't
You're not going anywhere.
You see, back then, the ended. No, it's not the same.
This is why we get
Bring on the
They are making games for their
This is real firepower!
Yeah, it's a vegan reviewing steakhouse. Exactly, yeah. This wasn't for you in the first place.
themselves in black nicely.
And dangerous!
Their team's capture progress.
My work here is not done. Goodbye.
Down and checking out the window to look outside. Negative discourse can't exist. And because of that, it's painting an incomplete picture for some of these games for what a general audience actually looks like. And that's why they're not finding an audience that resonates.
This is like that one that guy who's off the point. How are our games failing? The critical reviewers gave it an 8. Yeah, the gaming critics said it was very good. Yeah, all the users said it sucked, but look at the review. What the review said it was good.
Behold, the child!
I won't make the same mistakes again.
It doesn't help that these developers are looking in all the wrong places as well. I saw two the other day from Michael down
You'll have to
Clarence
keep
Studios
fighting
that
until we have a
really
winner.
hit the nail on the head because he was talking about how so many of these big budget games don't actually tell players what they are before launch, nor do they understand who their audience is. They rely on billboards, and broad marketing campaigns, but they fail to build any real relevance or resonance before they release. It's a completely avoidable disaster, but it keeps happening because these games are assuming that they have an audience before actually
Well, you can't expect to win them
That's how
all.
this industry keeps going wrong, because for years now, publishers have still been relying on outdated methods to try to figure out what players want. Metrics, surveys, focus groups, and curated fan feedback are painting an imaginary picture of what that audience actually looks like. Now, what makes matters even worse is today's modern internet culture where people don't actually say what they think. They say what they think they're supposed to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody has opinions that are based off of, like, basically saying the thing that you're supposed to say, having the opinion that you're supposed to have. You're not going to go off of that, like, off of that narrow road. That's it. Yeah, their opinions.
The right
are given
heroes
to
could
them.
make all the difference.
Because they're the virtue signals
What's everybody?
To find
I
the
think a lot of the
magic in
people
this
that
world.
are in.
But it does
So
help.
basically, a good example of this is that if you look at any form of media, no form of traditional published media criticizes any element of DEI, and it unilaterally supports it with
I
no
will bring
critical
peace to this
evaluation
universe,
whatsoever.
no matter the cost.
And you can very clearly see this is not. This is not what average people think.
I will leave this universe
It's
a better
not.
place than it
And
was
why is
before
that?
I
Why is
was
that happening?
created.
No, they perform
We'll
for
be coming
social
in 30
approval, and if you're a
seconds.
game
Stay
developer
strong.
that's listening to that, well, you're going to get wildly inaccurate data on
Yeah,
what players
it's coordinated.
actually
It
want.
is.
That's how we end up with insane takes like PC Gamer's recent article claiming that today's teens and young adults aren't interested in romance in video games. Really, the same teenagers and young adults that are obsessing and shipping Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail characters, the same
Well, to
ones.
be fair, the ones that are doing that, right, 30-year-old ball.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
Fueling the
3,
insane success
2,
of visual novels
1.
and dating sims, they don't want
We
romance.
have to stop them from
Interesting.
securing the
Because
mission
a
area.
survey told them otherwise, now developers are going to run with that and take it seriously and start making games under the assumption that this is what people want. This is what happens when you rely on performance data rather than actual
better already. Doesn't want to have the ability to romance the
I got
girl
3
in
of
the
them.
game with big boobs. Do you really, like, I mean, let's just take a step back here. Do you really think that they don't want that? Because if you really think that life always quantum magic.
I am strengthened for battle.
Shake it out.
care about romance. Explain why Baldur's Gate 3 blew up over character interaction. Explain why love and deep $1 in revenue. Because here's the thing, surveys, focus groups, social media feedback today aren't about truth. It's about we live in a world where people unironically call a 21-year-old a former teen and a protected class. Where any romance...
Former minor, bro. Oh my god.
And some media is
I am
People are constantly worried about how their opinions will be received. And that's the
This was
environment
always
in
your
which
fate.
conducting
We
surveys,
are
you never going to get
undefeatable!
That's the best way for you be able to understand what players want isn't to ask them, it's actually just to go watch what they're playing.
You are a beacon of hope, Nexus.
Dark Souls
Your life will live on inside us all.
Could be loved by younger players. Elden Ring did beat focus groups to figure out whether or not
friend
it
has
was
risen once more.
Some
assistance, please.
Rewritten
An object of realistic power.
All of this like counter stuff of like
You are safe now, my friend.
is because
Cosmic
they weren't
balance
being
is
represented
restored.
in the first place. And maybe the reason why they weren't being represented is because they don't exist in that space.
Enemy in front
Like
of us.
it's
My
the same
cosmic
thing that
might
happens
return.
in a game like this. Like these are games made for guys. These are guys. And you're gonna make the game for guys. I want to match that. This is the same reason why Wanda is completely underperforming. Is the conflicts in America don't know what their audience is. Manga is the time.
You were
By the eye of Agamotto.
How cute. That's basically the fucking that's the word. They know what they are.
I feel your pain, Nexus.
Healing power.
I was fine.
That's making time lapse, but
Life
all the
giving
these
not
developers making isn't using bad data.
We are in this together.
You need to teach me that spell. Can someone explain this robotic
They're trying to make a game.
I unleash the Vishanti's power.
They're making games that don't resonate. Maybe the only one that's noticing how many mature games
Cosmic
are
light
people that are
returns.
identity crisis. They want to tackle maturity.
It's party time!
That's because the people that write them are stupid. And they're not good writers. That's the reason why. So why are they not able to approach this?
I hope you could not feel their pain.
We are
Because they're
undefeatable!
bad writers. And
I was fine. Thank you.
Metaphor has no problem doing that. Final Fantasy 16 has no problem doing that. Disco Elysium, as far as I know, has
You
no
are a
problem.
beacon of hope, man.
Born again! Down the wind down fighting.
So unite. It's just they're bad at their job. They're bad. Like it's
Only 60 seconds left.
Second chances.
Language, sanitize the characters, and dull the edges of the story.
Moonlight left it on.
Great games are ageless. Everyone appreciates a great game, regardless of their age. And the moment that
I
you
am
start
born
tweaking the
anew.
language, tone, and the content to be able to pander to a specific demographic is the minute that you're going to lose the
We do
entire
not
audience
surrender what
altogether.
is ours.
This is why, from my
Down to 30
perspective, I don't think
seconds.
it's really
especially
worth
when that demographic isn't your native demographic. I think pandering to your, like, you know, Stellar Blade, right? And having, like, the character and, like, all the aspects.
my way.
Yeah, they're pandering.
We need to stop that vehicle
But
in
it's
its tracks.
pandering to the audience that it's made.
While to target each demographic specifically and video
Mind the exploding
I am at your service.
to design a game around who would you be for
By the eye of Agamotto.
Cosmos Steel, Final Fantasy, The Elder Scrolls, Zelda, Super Mario. Everyone grew up playing these games. They stopped loving them when they turned 30, and guess what? Teens and young adults that are still playing those games today love those games for the same reason. The Cosmos when we were younger shaped our preferences when we got older. How many people still listen to the same music that they loved in high school?
There you are. No escaping us now.
See, this is WoW players. Think about that. Yeah, WoW players still playing WoW. Absolutely.
That are like them. The core of what we find cool, exciting, or engaging is remarkably consistent throughout our entire life. That's why
Cosmic might return.
specific demographic seek to tap into these fundamental
Using once more.
challenge, and immersion. If for some odd reason modern game developers, specifically in the U.S. more than other places, don't seem to really understand that making a great game, they're obsessing over trying to appeal to different healing at the exact same time.
I need assistance.
And as a result, we start seeing these games that are these Frankenstein monstrosities that are trying to be everything for everyone, but end up resonating with no one. I keep coming back to this game, but it really is the perfect onion.
The moon haunts you.
I mean, think about it. The characters in the game
Why would you want to have romance in a game with ugly characters?
You were a beacon of hope.
They made it halfway! Stop them!
That's a great point.
Completely disconnected from the game fan base, likely in their 30s, get treated like children. That's why so many modern games end up feeling salty because they aren't being designed for strong creativity. They aren't being designed for
It's
Born again!
marketing analysis, stripping away anything that makes you feel personal, passive, or bold. Instead of creating something great to feel on this audience, they're trying to chase some imaginary audience. The best games don't need to be able to
They hit checkpoint.
Crossbow skills, and that's the most important thing. Compromise to fit some imagined modern sensibility. They don't have to be everything for everyone.
That's exactly right. He's completely right. And also a game like Elden Ring does actually increase its level of accessibility because it's open world, so you can choose the path that's best for you. It's the same as Dark Souls.
This feels
I
empty.
think that actually in a lot of
Somehow
cases, some of the best
dangerous.
video games are very accessible, but that accessibility isn't a toggle on a menu. It's a gameplay style or a way that it's functioning.
Stop them
Or
in
the way it
their tracks.
I
functions.
unleash
I
the
think that's right.
Vishanti
It
power.
doesn't-
The moon haunts you. Strengthened.
Skyrim. I didn't play Skyrim.
Gather around.
Can you romance?
A shield.
I don't know. Maybe.
We are undefeatable!
By the eye of Agamotto,
Be against you.
born again!
And I'm going to get some critical feedback. Crossbow skills.
We are in this together.
How you get better.
Our foes have arrived. Second chance is over.
They're trying to shield these not alone. Shield these developers. People that don't
Excellent
like their
forms,
games.
dear master.
They're doing far more harm than they actually are. They are. And
Watch this place
all sorts
carefully.
of rat behavior is supposed to be
You
called
stop
out.
them in their
It's so
tracks.
embarrassing.
This place is curious.
These
So
companies are not
fucking
here.
embarrassing.
Their methods are outdated. The internet is often inauthentic. And because of that,
Yeah, you cannot listen to or look at what feedback is on.
Only 60 seconds left.
You have to have your own. You have to be like your own
Did you
North
even
Star.
train for this?
And it's like it's such a weird thing where it's like
Double
you need
KO.
to listen to feedback. You need to hear feedback, but you don't always need to listen to it. And I think that a lot of developers,
My friend has risen once
they
more.
either they don't do either, or they do too much of both. Like, cause for example, like I hear feedback for people to give me,
Down to 30
and some of
seconds.
it I take into account, some of it
I am
I
strengthened.
think that's very misled creators that are using performative developers to make performative games with performative audiences, a whole lot of skills, a whole lot of bad data, and a whole lot of games without any audience. Yes, you
Final
need
10
a
seconds.
this industry is
in this together.
scientific. You need to
May your tortured soul finally find some
Double KO.
I don't even think it's scientific. I think it's just common fucking sense.
Another epic
Like-
victory. Big win.
Don't make annoying characters in the video games. Don't make every single moment of seriousness doesn't need to be, offset by a Marvel movie line. Like some like little funny joke. Not everything has to happen like that. Like it's just it is, in my opinion, shitty millennial writing. That's what it is, and that's all it is.
And then iterate on it.
Yep.
You know, I've talked about this before, but I was in on
Pick your
Baldur's Gate
hero
3's early
or
access.
villain. I'm not
Incredible.
judging.
Developer knows rich
to find the
detail,
magic in this
feedback that we
world.
would get,
But it
panels
does
from
help.
hell,
Yep.
the updates that they would.
Or nobody cares about? What is this?
A war raging in Pakistan, one that doesn't.
Okay, let's watch this. Sure, let's hear it. We gotta get to, by the way, we haven't even gotten to that Trump shit with the Qatar. We gotta get over to that.
There is a war raging in Pakistan, one that.
Sorry, fucking piece of shit audio.
I've made my share of mistakes.
There is a war raging in
But I am
Pakistan,
fighting
one
every
that
day
doesn't
to make amends.
make it to primetime news. But it
30
is real
seconds
and it
before
is
you attack.
brutal.
Get
It
ready.
is not a war against India or Afghanistan. It is a war against Pakistan's own people.
I'm totally fangirling.
I'm talking about
Oh, same
Balochistan, a
here.
region
We can
that
swap
has been
autographs after
burning
the
for
fight.
decades.
You
Pakistan's
should just
army,
be asking for
once
mine.
feared, is
When's the
now
last time
struggling
you
here.
sold out Stark Arena
They are
Grants?
unable to hold
All
ground
right,
in
K-pop,
their own
let's go save
country.
the world.
So let
This
battle
reminds
starts
me
in
of that
5,
anecdote
4,
about how no
3,
Pakistan prime
2,
minister has ever
1.
served out his full term.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Come, dine with me in Valhalla.
Man,
Let me tell you about the war that Pakistan does not want the world to see. Balochistan is Pakistan's largest province. It makes up 44% of their land. It is rich in minerals
Wow.
like gold, copper, and
okay.
oil.
I didn't know that.
It is at the heart of China's multi-million-dollar PET project, CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor.
Okay.
Looks like the
So
mission
Balochistan
area
is
is
well.
yours to capture now.
But for the Baloch people, this wealth has been a curse. The province remains the poorest in Pakistan. People do not have schools or hospitals. You know what they have? They have checkposts, army convoys, and forced disappearances. Thousands of Balochis have vanished, kidnapped,
mission
tortured,
area.
and killed.
What?
Hundreds of women have been raped. Pakistan's army calls it counter-terrorism, but let's call a spade a spade. This is oppression by the Pakistani army. And the Baloch are no longer
Can
complaining.
you guys believe that they're doing this?
That's better.
You guys believe that? Yeah? Yeah, me too. I can believe it.
They're fighting back. The Baloch Liberation Army, the BLA, is leading the charge. They have been on an attacking spree. Let me show you some numbers. The BLA carried out
My fate is in
71 attacks in
You
1
like
week.
that?
71 attacks in 1 week. This was across 51 locations in Balochistan. Their main target was the Pakistani army. Military convoys were ambushed. Posts were destroyed and captured, and a gas
Why?
pipeline operated by China was blown up.
What the fuck?
All in the last 1 week. Last Saturday, the BLA even captured the city.
This is...
13
Wait, I didn't even know this was happening.
The halfway point.
This is crazy.
The BLA is mounting sustained and heavy
My
costs
fate isn't
on
sealed yet.
Pakistan's army. In the month of March, the BLA hijacked a train with 400 passengers on board. They held it for 36 hours.
Get out of here!
Pakistan lost a lot of troops in that operation, and their losses are only growing. Last year, more than 1,000
Are
Pakistani
they gonna cut Pakistan in half again?
troops were killed in Balochistan in attacks by the BLA. This is a full-blown rebellion, and it's escalating. The latest target are the Chinese. Foreign sectors, as the Chinese call them.
They are.
62 Chinese nationals have been killed in the last 2 years. All of them were working for the CPEC, the China-Pakistan
My fate
Economic
isn't
Corridor.
sealed yet.
So why is Pakistan's army losing on their own turf?
anywhere.
Well, for multiple reasons. First, the insurgency has evolved. The BLA is not a ragtag force anymore. They are organized, sophisticated, and relentless. They've got suicide squads and snipers. Every attack is recorded on video. Some are even live streamed. So that
I've made my share of mistakes.
So the Pakistani
I'm
government...
fighting every day.
Like, you would think that for all the footage that they put out about video games, they'd understand what stream sniping is, but apparently not.
is point one, the BLA.
30 seconds before you attack.
Second reason.
Get ready.
The army's heavy-handed tactics. Islamabad's response has been
When I
bloody.
see someone with
More
powers
troops,
like
more
yours,
force, more
I think,
abductions, more
wow.
torture.
I mean, how can I
Pakistan's
compare?
actions in Balochistan are
Don't
not
compare.
counter-insurgency.
You
It is
just
a human
spread your
rights
light.
disaster. And it is backfiring. The people of Balochistan no longer want the army. So what does Islamabad do?
The battle starts in
It
5,
accuses India.
4,
It calls the BLA
3,
Indian proxy.
2,
No proof, no
1.
evidence.
Right.
Just baseless
All you need to
accusations.
do is capture the mission
Pakistan
area.
is failing
Got
to
it?
address the real issue here.
So,
Here's my rag.
is this... I mean, I'm just hearing about this right now, but this seems like
there's like an area in this country that is very rich in resources, and the people that are living there are not only not having those resources shared with them, but they are being funneled back to the central government and the central area in the country where the people, yeah, they want independence. Yeah, exactly, right? And so Ukraine 2.0, I don't know. I mean, I would not make that assumption. I've only watched this for a few minutes. Exactly, Balochistan? Yeah. It's being funneled into China. Yeah, and so they're doing this through, and I'm assuming these military convoys are to suppress any form of fighting back. So is this an example where, like, and also, how is, so the Pakistani military, they can't even figure out this counterinsurgency group, even while they're live streaming?
Which people have been neglected, they have been marginalized, and they are feeling.
Yeah.
Armed and dangerous!
Like I said, China has lost engineers and equipment to BLA attacks. Their pet project seems like it's struggling to take off. Billions of dollars are at stake. So China is asking the tough questions. They want to deploy their own security in Balochistan. Clearly, even the Chinese do not trust Pakistan's army.
I'm trying to help.
Where does that leave Pakistan? Their army will keep launching operations. Azam Ishtiqam, or whatever they call it next. But Balochistan is a political crisis, not a military one.
I have never seen a generational hater towards Pakistan.
My work.
This is actually like this is some Kendrick Lamar, they not like us shit. Like this is impressive.
Economic exclusion, political suppression, and human rights abuses. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
And that means the rebellion will only get bolder. No amount of bullets can silence the people fighting for their dignity.
Well, why don't they just, I mean, wouldn't it just be, I mean, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking about this logically. Wouldn't it just be easier to give them some of the money, and then you wouldn't have to spend the money sending the military over to stop them from getting mad? Because like, why wouldn't you just build the hospital and say, okay, well, there you go, all right, shut the fuck up? Like, I feel like that would solve it. Like, yeah, yeah, what a good line. Exactly, right? Just give them some of the money. Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, fine. Just stop it. And then most of them would probably stop it, and that'd be it.
Pakistan is fighting a war with
Balochistan announced independence today.
and it's losing this one.
What?
Don't let them do this, Andy.
No.
Man, dangerous! Again!
This time I need healing.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. I am ready to put on a show.
Jesus. I don't even know. You're understanding. You're now underestimating Pakistan's military, but you gave him huge credit a few days ago for knowing where Osama was. Well, first they knew where he was. Because they were working with him, probably. What do you mean? And also, they're asking for a server. And also, by the way, oh, that one doesn't look like the other flag. That's not. Oh, they've got their own flag now? Oh, it's over, boys. Server transfer is crazy.
Armed and dangerous!
Flag? I don't know.
Again!
The Balochistan declared independence from Pakistan.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Control lost.
From the clutches of the nefarious designs of Pakistan. Easy to extricate yourself from the clutches of the nefarious designs of Pakistan.
Born again!
Oh my God!
The soul cannot truly be we have a comrade like Amar.
So there's a new country that came out today.
We'll have to keep fighting until
Yeah,
we
it
have
got
a
shadow
winner.
dropped. I didn't even know this happened.
So, and we have many, not only here, but we have many. I don't think so. So it's not 1971. It's not, you know, 1960 in the 45, something like that, you know.
Damn.
Now, if you do something like you did with the Bengalis in 1971, not only Baloch people, not only other people, but international media, a great move from here. Because this is
It's hard to understand what he's saying. We're gonna move on to something else. It's just hard to understand what he's saying. So this is it. Wow. Isn't this crazy? There's an entirely new country that got added. This is a massive patch. It's not even on here.
Pick
Christmas?
your hero or villain. I'm not
It's
judging.
fucking May.
You don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world, but it does help.
They're not even talking about this. They announced equal rights for women? Oh, guys. Oh, man. You know, where's Pakistan? Yeah, anyway, so no, but it's not even on here. Isn't that insane?
Offers endless possibilities, but
News. What about news?
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Oh my God. It
That's
doesn't
some
even
nice armor you
exist.
got there, sweetheart. How much you want for it?
More rocket.
Western
You know
media is
Spider
suppressing
is
it
for
so
sale.
much, I don't
How
get
about
it.
just one arm? No?
The new
Come
leadership
on.
is now seeking diplomatic recognition and support from India and the international community. An appeal from India and Baloch in recognition of free and independent Balochistan. Your Excellency, we the members of Baloch Warfare Association India write to you as Indian Baloch, descendants of a proud and ancient nation whose homeland Balochistan remains under occupation and oppression. Over 7 decades, this is ever since, I guess, probably World War II, the people from Balochistan have been subjected to relentless atrocities by the Pakistani state, including enforced disappearances, military operations, resource exploitation, and a systematic cultural suppression. These actions amount to crimes against humanity and continue to threaten the survival of the Baloch identity. As Pakistan citizens of Baloch heritage, we appeal to the government of India to take a principled and bold step in recognizing free Balochistan as an independent state. Such recognition would not only uphold the democratic values that India's heritage, but also reaffirm India's historical and cultural ties with the Baloch people. We also want the United Nations to... Bro, Trump has the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Can you imagine that? Bro, like, if he did that shit, that would be fucking funny. And, yeah, if he just, he's like, announce it, like, take it seriously. Recognizing an independent Balochistan is essential to bring lasting peace to the region. Ending the decades of suffering. Isn't this crazy, guys? Isn't this fucking insane? This is the first time I'm ever hearing about this. It has 800,000 views.
Help. So cold.
Oh my God. I've never heard of Balochistan, but it's nearly Pakistan's map size? Yeah. Oh my God. This is insane. Baloch people need more coverage. Balochistan is an independent country just like India. They just want their nation back. All solidarity with Baloch people from Egypt. Freedom is not given, it's snatched. Oh, fuck.
My work, we must hold our
Wow.
ground.
Never won a war, never lost an election. Pakistan Army. God. Bro, that's insane. Not sure if you know, but the IMF just gave $2.1 billion to Pakistan the day before the ceasefire was announced. Yeah, I did know that. And beggars can't be choosers. Holy shit, man. Let's welcome the soon-to-be country, Balochistan. Wow. I don't know, guys. I feel like this is
Don't
like
mess
for me,
with the amazing
am I crazy
Spider-Man!
in saying that this is one of those moments where, like, I see this, and this is one of those points where I think this is a... Let me think of a good way to say it. This is a point where, like, you've got to realize how much of a bubble our media is. We didn't even hear about this shit at all. Yeah, we didn't even know about it. Another history. Yeah, this is like, because the first one, remember I told y'all it was about Syria, right? Like Syria was like that point for me, because I remember I was playing PoE 2, and I was on the phone with my friend, and he was showing me some shit. Actually, it was a Discord call. With my friend, and he was showing me some shit from Syria, like videos, like his family from there. And I was like, what the fuck? And so he's showing me this shit. And then, just Elon's game. Yeah, Elon's game. And anyway, which I have no idea. About that now. Yeah. And this is the next example. This is the next one right here. Something that I literally had no fucking idea about until 5 minutes ago. Wow.
I've watched entire realities consumed by chaos. I won't let that happen again.
Asmon's take was right. Well, of course. Asmon's take was right once again. Senator presents data that shows that white women are the ones that benefit from DEI.
When I see someone with powers like yours, I think, wow.
The whole nation is shocked by the rape gang scandal. Thousands of young teenage girls systematically raped over years by men of predominantly Pakistani heritage. Girls like Jane, who was repeatedly gang raped at the age of just 12. The police found her being abused by an illegal immigrant. But instead of arresting the illegal immigrant, they arrested her.
Get this timeline thing sorted out, I'm taking a long vacation somewhere.
Nah, bro, like, nah.
That is sick. The last government took action by setting up the wider J inquiry and the grooming gangs task force. But the truth is, that is not enough. There is now clear evidence that those in authority covered up these rapes because the perpetrators were mainly of Pakistani heritage. Last week,
I do think that they are actively trying to hide the ethnicities to not create further racial division. I think it's pretty obvious that's happened. And I forgot which European country it was, but one of them did actually stop reporting on the ethnicities or making them like formally noted. Was that Sweden? I think it was Sweden. I didn't want to, you know, like say it, but I think it was Sweden. Yeah, it has the opposite effect. Yeah, I think it's definitely radicalizing a lot of people. Like, these are the people, by the way, if you want to, you know, have a summoning ritual for the next Adolf Hitler, this is a pretty good way to do it. It is.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
I really worry about it a lot.
Kind of vulnerable.
I do. They're speedrunning it. They are. They're speedrunning it. And this worries me a lot. I'm not a, I don't think that's really good either. And now we're gonna get Nigel Farage? No, Nigel Farage is not extreme enough. Like, trust me, like the kind of person that you're going to get, you don't even know what they are right now. And if you do, their views will change so much that they will not even be anything like what they are right now. You will get someone that is truly extreme.
I met retired Detective Chief Inspector John Pecos. In Bradford, he witnessed...
And people will vote for him. Probably at him, maybe at her. And they will vote out of pure exasperation. And everybody will be worse off because of it. Because these lies are being allowed to happen, and people are being told that they can't see what's in plain sight.
The abuse of a young girl in a car, but he was then instructed by a chief superintendent to block the matter to avoid antagonizing Bradford's Muslim community. Covering up the rape of young girls for that reason is one of the most immoral things I've ever heard.
Well, why don't you just put them on trial? I mean, like, the thing is that why are the people over there not asking for this guy to be put in jail? I mean, I feel like that's clearly the solution, right? I mean, you just put the guy in jail and then move on.
Yet not a single person, not one,
to do it more.
has ever been held to account for these cover-ups. That is why we need a national statutory public inquiry which can compel production of evidence. Even last year, authorities in Manchester were still covering up, leading to the chairs of the local Manchester inquiry to resign. 5 local inquiries, which can't compel the production of evidence, just won't do. 50 towns are affected, not 5. And Bradford, where some of the worst abuse occurred, is refusing to cooperate with any inquiry at all. So there won't be an inquiry in Bradford because their council is refusing to participate. Now, Mr. Speaker.
Wow. I mean, again, I don't really understand a lot of politics from these other countries, right? So, like, I don't know really what recourse the public has for this. But it sure seems like whatever recourse they do have needs to be used. The UK is cooked? Yeah, it is. And I'm very concerned about where this is going to go. I am. I'm very, very concerned about this. Because I think I know where this is going to go, and it's going to be really, really bad.
The Home Secretary promised on the 16th of January that Baroness Casey would complete a rapid audit within 3 months. Well, 3 months has now passed, and we've heard nothing whatsoever. The government said there would be 5 local inquiries, but we know nothing about 4 of them, and the man charged with setting them up, Wanda, said to the Home Affairs Committee on the 1st of this month that
I also find it funny that there are so many of these, like, shows that, you know, it's always Britain, it's the authoritarian state. Does anybody remember what the book was that the actor had in V for Vendetta that was the banned book? What was the banned book? It was the Quran.
Exquisite!
Isn't that crazy?
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
he had been sidelined by the minister over there and, quote, did not know what was going on. Now, finally, Mr. Speaker, I recently met Marlon West, whose daughter was trafficked, abused and raped by mainly Asian men, including in Bradford.
That's bad.
He said this government should be ashamed of themselves and they should hold a national inquiry. Jane, who was trafficked and gang raped at 12, also wants a statutory national inquiry. Labour Mayor Andy Burnham, Harriet Harman, and the Labour...
I think this is also probably a result of, like, haphazard, like, migration policies, too. Because, like, a lot of these guys, like, I'm sure that there are plenty of people from, like, Pakistan that live here in the U.S., and they live in other places in the world that don't go out and gang rape young girls, right? That doesn't happen. But I think that what's happened is that a lot of these people come over and they never really integrate into society in a real way. So they stay inside of these, like, kind of cloisters of communities. And they just become more radicalized and more alienated from, like, the culture that they're a part of. And then this is what the result of it is. And I think that they're setting this up for it to happen. So, like, in a way, like, the real enemy here, like, you can say, yeah, of course it's the rapist. Yeah, for sure. But, like, the real enemy are not the people that are the outcomes of the problem, but the people who are creating the problem.
Who are you to judge my worth?
MP for Rotherham all agree. So will the minister do what they and Marlon and Jane are all begging for and hold that national...
Yeah, no, he's completely right about that. And I think that when people in the UK get fed up with this will be a big problem. Will be a huge fucking problem.
We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
California judge said that you can't just scoop people up and deport them without a warrant. And in that case, basically the judge is saying, you know, you're basically taking anybody who's in a particular area. If they don't want to talk to you, you're taking them, detaining them, and assuming that they are deportable. And that you can't really do that anymore.
What the judge is saying is there's nothing radical. This is basically comports with existing law. It comports with decades of decisions around this matter, which in, like, pure layman's basic terms means that ICE agents cannot go after people, arrest them and detain them solely on the basis of being having brown skin and being working class. And what was so interesting...
They're arresting people and detaining them for being working class. For sure.
So it begins.
About this case for me is that the Border Patrol did not contest any of the allegations.
They actually claimed that they changed their guidelines.
Their response was just that they were going to do better training, and this issue is right in line with the Mr. Abrego Garcia case. It's a question of due process. Whatever we feel about Mr. Abrego Garcia, it's honestly irrelevant. All these questions for the immigration judge.
On Mr. Garcia, we keep saying that there's no evidence that this guy belonged to a gang.
No evidence.
That's not true.
That's what I need.
Just embrace the light
Again,
born from the
this is like somebody
goodbye.
having a swastika tattooed on them and saying that there's no evidence they're a Nazi.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Fucking retarded inversion of logic that you can ever imagine. Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Us gets the
Tell us
world.
6 or 10 subs. That's ridiculous.
No, that is
Absolute brain rot. Massive brain rot.
Chance to stop them.
He's just Hindu? It's a different symbol.
Michael, that is true. No. Hold on.
We always have to play this game of interrupting people when they're talking.
But you're
What
saying...
is the point of me being on the show if I can never finish my freaking thoughts? Well, this is getting really annoying at me.
Hold on.
Everyone else has made their statements. I have yet to say anything.
Hold on a second, okay?
I mean, Jesus.
Hold on a second.
Because I want to say something, and I have a point of view to make clear as well.
Hang on just 1 second. Share, Michael. Let me... The question is, has the government presented evidence in court that Abrego Garcia is a member of MS-13?
And my response?
And the answer is no, that has not happened in court. But it doesn't mean that they have not made those claims publicly. It doesn't mean that those claims are not in the police.
Yes, multiple times, yes. You have this guy, so he's found in, I think, Houston or something like that, traveling without a license, I believe, or there's something wrong with his car. And then he's also at the same time, he's like basically with a bunch of people that are undocumented who all have their home address as his home address, even though they're all in a completely different state. You have his wife that's photoshopping an emoji over his fingers so you can't see the tattoos that he has. The tattoos that he has are directly referencing and directly related to MS-13. You have him being related and found with other people that were in MS-13 as well. How many points on the line do you fucking need? This is unbelievable.
I am Asgard's might!
Yeah, gang related tattoos. Yes, it's crazy. It's commented. How does anybody know They don't get it.
Again!
2 judges found he was likely MS-13.
Reborn from the chaos.
No shit.
From 2019, it doesn't mean that they're not in police.
Here's the truth. If the Democrats found a person who was super conservative and they had a swastika tattooed on their back that was like really, really big, do you think that they'd be running this much defense for that person getting deported?
They've made it halfway. Stop them.
Absolutely not.
This should help me heal.
Absolutely not. And everybody knows.
They're just not statements that were made
in 2019, the immigration judge at the time believed the Prince George's County gang unit and the evidence that they presented before that judge at the time that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. This is not my opinion. People can Google this crap. They can Google the CBS reported on this. If a judge believed in the 2019, is it now all of a sudden not true? I acknowledge.
So it has a withholding of removal, which, by the way, should have never happened. That is the part of it that should have never happened. Like the idea that we need to keep an illegal immigrant gang member in our country because we're worried that he might get killed in his other country? No, we shouldn't care about him at all.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
What are we talking about?
Lightning can find it.
This is not our problem. Send him the fuck back. Then appeal that decision.
My work here is not
I think
done.
they should.
Which is a different issue. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous decision. It should have never happened. I only care about due process. I don't. Why do people care so much about a process that is inherently flawed?
God
Why is it so important that we adhere to a process that is inherently flawed and fucked up? Everybody agrees that the law is fucked up. It's what we have? No, it's what you're creating, and you're using this as a justification to stop people from undoing your intentional mistakes. You make the intentional mistake of letting in a bunch of illegal aliens into the country, and then somehow you use that same argument to say that other people can't get rid of them. It's bullshit. It is. It's bullshit.
Goodbye.
Point remains that a judge found the evidence to be credible that Mr. Garcia did not belong to a gang. So now someone's just not going to believe judges?
The judge?
You can't have it both ways.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but
well, the judge, I mean, you know, well...
my only point is that the government has not presented, beyond the police report, they have not actually presented the evidence to prove that he belonged to this gang.
So police reports
that's all I'm
Only 60 seconds left.
Armed and dangerous! Fast! Grace us with victory!
I'm pretty sure if we find evidence that this guy's saying that he's part of MS-13, they will find a way to act like it's not true.
The real magic happens.
The amount of mental gymnastics that they're going through in order to justify this, like anybody who supports this, I would never vote for them. This to me is like a fucking like a one issue. Like if you think that this is normal and good, I'm never going to vote. Why? Because it is a total inversion of all logic, rationality.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
It's a complete inversion.
The final 10 seconds.
It's the opposite.
Do judges not consider the reality?
Yes.
I literally saying it absolutely is relevant to the argument from the administration, which is that Mr. Garcia belonged to a gang as one of the reasons of deporting him out of the country. But you guys say there's no truth, there's no facts. That's not true.
The Constitution, well, it's also like this is the logic here. If he has an order, if they want him to stay, why would the gang want to kill him?
They hit a checkpoint.
You ever think about that?
Now might be a good time to stop them.
Why would the gang want to kill him specifically? Unless he had some form of relation to the gang. How did that happen?
Tandy needs help.
No person should be deprived of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness without due process. It doesn't matter what he's done in his past. The Boston bomber had due process.
Yeah, that's a due process.
The Boston bomber was a U.S. citizen.
But this is about I gave you time. Let me finish. Okay. This is a president who continues to twist the Constitution to adapt to whatever his vision is, to the point of the 2-year-old who was deported without due process, an American citizen. His father did not want him to go, and the only access he had to his daughter was listening to his daughter cry in the background in a 1-minute call. That 4-year-old did not.
Bro, so much emotional manipulation. It is embarrassing.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
This is all these people have. Yeah, the emotional appeal. Oh my God, that's it. Yeah. No, he wasn't a citizen. Was he not? I thought he was. Yeah, if I remember right, I thought he was. Maybe I could be misremembering.
Not get access to a doctor, despite the fact that he had a stage 4 cancer, did not have his medication.
Either way, basically my opinion is that if you're found to not be a citizen, especially if you are an illegal alien, I don't think that we really should have to give you due process. As soon as we figure that out, then the only decision after that is figuring out how to get you out of the country. Everything else besides that is beside the point. There's no process. That is the due process in itself. Is your off on this too? No, it's not off at all. Why is it that we have to go through the entire political process for that? Why? Why? Who decided that? It's stupid.
with him when he was deported, an American citizen to Honduras. This is what this president is doing. He is twisting the definition of the Constitution, and people like you are disparaging character to try to justify that disparaging.
I'm not disparaging
Due process
character.
does matter.
Did
You're
he
right
have
about
due
that.
process? But the idea that Mr. Garcia's past doesn't matter is ludicrous. But we live in a sovereign nation, and this idea
It
that
infuriates me that we're still being gaslit about this. I know, bro. It's insane. It's crazy that they keep doing this. You lost your chance of due process the moment you ignored the you ignored the due process to enter the country legally. Yeah, exactly.
people can just come into our country and do whatever the heck they want to do. It's absurd to me. And if Democrats want to die on this hill, I promise you'll regret it politically. So go right ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. We don't want people breaking our laws coming into our country. That is a fact.
Let me let Scott have a word, and then we'll move on.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is
you don't lose due process at any point. It's constitutionally protected. Well, here's the way I see it, right? Is that the right to vote is also in the Constitution. It's an amendment.
You shine like a diamond.
But it's not granted to people who aren't citizens.
Empty.
So there are already examples of things that are in the Constitution that are not granted to non-citizens.
If we aren't
and
strong
that
within,
is the premise that I base decisions on. The Constitution of the United States is made for citizens of the United States. And it is explicitly not made for people in the United States because there was that all of the amendments, the Constitution would apply to all people in the United States, which it does not.
I feel better already.
So if you're not a citizen, I don't think the Constitution should apply to you.
The cosmos heals.
It's that simple.
And a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place. 20 million in with no process.
So this is another thing that I think we should talk about more, is that I think the real problem is that the process exists in this way in the first place. Because I do agree that you need to have a process and follow the process. Just change the process. There's no reason why you can't just change the process,
How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case? You can cherry pick any case you want, but the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all, and now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
A lot of them came in. A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November, when I explained due process enforcement to the criminal attorneys through Conlaw invincibly, it doesn't matter to me what your explanation is. You're not going to convince me that an illegal alien came into the country like without our consent should be granted the same privileges as a citizen. I don't care what the rules say. Why would I care what the rules say? The Supreme Court decided that corporations should have free speech for citizens illegally. And you're supposed to listen to them as if they're the gospel? I don't think so.
Unite.
Absolutely not. It's ridiculous.
I need healing.
So it's not relevant to me what you think the rules are or anything like that. Totally fucking meaningless.
You come in illegally, you have to leave. America is a pattern. We do not have unlimited rights.
Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right, let's.
Now we're not.
Oh, I agree.
I'm talking about Marco Rubio because
I don't care if you're dying of cancer, you gotta go.
Evil.
Yeah, unironically. If you're an illegal immigrant and you're here in this country and you came here illegally, I don't care about your health condition. Get the fuck out of the country. You shouldn't have been here. Yes, absolutely. What's the question? Yeah. I mean, like, And the problem is that I don't think there's enough people saying what I'm saying. I wish that more people were. Because I think this is what people actually kind of heartless. No, it's not. It's heartless to let a person come into the country, perform numerous other crimes on top of the crime of coming into the country, and then guilt trip the population of that country into allowing their tax dollars, their money, and their resources into helping them. That's what I think is heartless. That's the problem. It's a total inversion of reality. What crimes? Well, usually identity fraud, you know, obviously crossing and coming here in the first place is illegal in itself. So that's usually two right there. And that's the bare minimum, right?
I am ready to put on a show!
The thing is that I don't see the reason for it. Why? If you found out that this person shouldn't be here, then the next decision should be how to get them out of it. That's it. Why is it any more complicated? Does anybody understand that?
Your powers are mine!
I am ready to put on a show!
Well, it would be the same thing. If it came here illegally, of course they'd have to be sent out. I mean, if you don't want that, then you just have people sending their kids over. Of course.
There's still so much to do.
Who cares? Why would I care about their age?
The cosmos heals you.
Yeah, they're born here. Well, I mean, again, like if you're a parent and you illegally immigrate over to another country, and you have a kid here, and both of the parents are illegal immigrants, I do not think your kid should be a citizen. It doesn't make any sense to me. If this was a video game, it would be patched out.
I feel better already.
The idea that you come across the border, have a kid, and the kid gets defaulted into becoming an American citizen is completely illogical. That interpretation of that amendment was right after slavery was ended and was intended for slaves. This is a clever use of game mechanics, it is a game exploit, and it needs to be passed out. Sorry, it's just common.
I suppose that helps.
I don't know what to say. Under the Alien Enemies Act, the government's doing exactly what you want. Good.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Marco Rubio used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans. And Marco Rubio, you're not more an advocate of Nicaraguans and Mongolians. No, I know you're not.
Illegally, you can go to home. Simple as that. You do not have unlimited.
So by your logic, your entire family should go back to Europe? If there were enough Native Americans back in the 1600s, whenever my family came over, I think they would have probably preferred that, yes.
I got what you need this time.
I needed that more than
Yeah.
Nick.
I bet they would have preferred that, absolutely.
Your souls unite.
Duh.
The cosmos heals you.
I think a lot of Americans.
Other than the black people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people.
The black people that came as slaves were brought to the country illegally. Slavery was illegal. That's why they were selling them.
Anything stand in your way.
What?
You were brought here to get
That's exactly what I just said. I said there is a lot of people harder than the black people. That's exactly what I just said. That's exactly what I just said, Michael. And you can act indignant. That's exactly what I
I am ready to put on a show!
She's getting so mad. Well, you got some people in chat, bro. This guy's crashing out. Let me read this. Zachar is a fucking Nazi, 100%. This is what the average German citizen said about Jews in the 1930s and 1940s, word for word. Go look up interviews from then in Germany. He said word for word, one of them. Bro, you sound exactly like the people who voted for Hitler.
I have risen.
Jesus Christ, man. Have you taken your meds today?
I am Asgard's might.
Ban bitch, I'm tired of sounding of you sounding like ignorant bitch. Have you taken your medication today or not?
The cosmos heals you.
I think that you might be a little bit late.
The dragon unleashed!
All of it?
Chaos!
Talk to your doctor. It's not working.
Let me go Anna and Share Michael. Share Michael, I think you actually misheard what she said.
More Jews that are illegal? Listen. A person making a ridiculous comparison like that isn't even worth being responded. It's just worth being laughed at and ignored. Really, I mean, there's no reason to sit around and explain and like get into that. Like, yeah, it's not even. There's not even a reason.
She said that she gets rich.
So now you're in my
Share Michael. Share Michael.
I would say I have had my entire life or something like that.
I love how she's trying to make this guy feel guilty for illegal aliens by saying that she tried to help black people, and so he has some sort of generational debt to her. Isn't that fucking ridiculous? How does it say that? Isn't that weird?
So close. This is your big chance.
Like, they're like, you owe us? Like, you owe us this? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I am as
I'm ready to put on a show.
Congratulations. Last time I said I'm black, you're not.
Okay, Share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino and my people are being racially profiled.
The perfect.
You're an
You can't
American.
expect to win.
Like, this is not your people. Like, this isn't. There shouldn't be any race politics to this. How are there any race politics to this? They're here and they're not supposed to be here. That's the beginning and end. I don't understand. Like, what is this? She's getting so mad. This is on. She's crashing out on CNN.
Do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Share
Do I
Michael.
want to go there?
I don't.
Do you really
Okay,
want to go there?
Yeah, see, because she knew, bro, as soon as this guy, because she wants to play the race card on a black guy.
Pick your hero.
You're gonna lose.
Or villain. I'm not judging.
You don't have to be a witch to find
Yeah,
the
you're
magic
gonna
in this
lose,
world.
man.
But it does help.
That's just the way it is.
Raul, we're gonna go to break.
Yeah, bro, he got the
Thank you very much
Exodia.
for joining us. Everybody else, hang tight. We'll be right back.
When I was studying
Look at them just talking, bro.
history, like the
Yeah. Going to commercial break.
My happiness first, no matter the cost.
It is so funny to see a crash out like this over just such a ridiculous, dumb fucking thing to say, right? And yeah, anyway, I just, that bro was awesome. I know, I thought it was really funny. I wanted to watch it on stream. I only watched like 30 seconds of it. I said, okay, I'm going to save this for there.
30
Think it's
seconds
funny how
before
they
you
have
attack.
Latinos and
Get
African Americans fighting amongst each other over the same thing? No, I think it's embarrassing. I think that any form of like, I think it's okay to be like, you know, proud of whatever race you are, and I think it's.
But after that, you may call yourself what you like. I like Adam Warlock, but maybe I'll start calling myself Sorcerer Supreme.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is
And
capture the
for
mission
some
area.
reason, The
Got
Last
it?
of Us has no viewers anymore. I wonder why. Good evening and happy belated Mother's Day to men wearing dresses, and welcome to We Lie to You News. Our top stories tonight. France's president has some blocked sinuses for some reason. Trump strikes a major deal with the Saudi prince. Trump puts major limits on drug companies. Trump creates a peace deal. The guy's just doing a lot of bad things. And the dating trial starts with a witness that just disappeared, and much more tonight. Starting with France's President Macron caught with cocaine on a train after meeting with Zelensky. Reporters unexpectedly entered the room. That's when Macron
still so
appeared
much
to
to
all of
do.
a sudden try to conceal something that was left on the table. Perhaps some kind of small bag or envelope of
Capture the
sorts.
mission area.
As this happened, his German advisor worked to conceal a small spoon on the table. Now, many are accusing them of hiding drugs and drug paraphernalia. Here you can see Macron hiding it in his pocket. But luckily, Macron denies it and sets the record straight. According to him, he was hiding a handkerchief, which you can clearly see when he grabs the object that looks nothing like a handkerchief. And what others claim is a cocaine spoon, Macron says was nothing more than a plastic coffee stirrer, which is understandable when you look at the glasses of water and no coffee on the table that they must have been using it for. Macron's story seems 99.9% likely to be true, because if he was caught with drugs, we are sure his response would be, yes, that's what they are. The erratic actions to hide these two objects were most likely because they wanted to clean off the table so it looked good for reporters. And because they left a lot of bigger stuff on the table, that seems most likely what they were doing. President Trump was just in Saudi Arabia, where he and the royal prince signed a deal to bring $600 billion in investment to the U.S. Liberals are saying that this will be bad for the economy because it'll just make us richer. And while President Trump was in Saudi Arabia, he was quoted as saying, "They have a lot of sand here. It's good sand. I've never seen sand like this. They do sand very well here." In other news, President Trump signed an executive order to lower prescription drug prices by 30 to 80%. Here you can see this important announcement after he makes an even more important announcement about ABC News.
You should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the bill. Bobby, come on over. Now you're talking.
With Trump reducing how much of the very good and altruistic drug companies can charge for their always super safe and effective medications, stay tuned to see how liberals react. And in other news, the Florida Health Department confirms that the Pfizer shot killed over 470,000 Americans. Unite. Good. Meanwhile, just days after Mr. Depopulation Bill Gates met with high-level officials there, Singapore passes a law to mandate vaccines and jail the unvaccinated. And a couple of parents were arrested in Spain because they hadn't let their children leave the house or go outside since 2021 due to their fear. And I say, that sounds like good parents who excelled at just following orders. In other news, the Diddy trial started with a bit of a snag when a key witness who was set to testify against Diddy went missing. Now these things just kind of happen, and it would be conspiratorial to think otherwise. Has Boeing even had the honor of having even one whistleblower testify against them? And in the world of sports, a female softball pitcher is unfairly coming under fire because she's not a female. Women, who always seem to be complaining about something, complain that he throws so hard that most girls can't hit the ball. However, it's a very weak argument they have. What they fail to realize is that when a woman is pitching, most girls can't hit that ball either. That's it for today's news. Oh yeah, President Trump also helped India and Pakistan sign a peace deal, helping to avoid a potential nuclear war. This guy is a fascist and we must stop him. But here's to see India's smartest man celebrating. Meanwhile, in Spain, they were doing this. Stunningly beautiful culture.
Welcome, my friend, to exactly where I start every morning. Like all other people, low energy, stress, and aches and pains are something that can really bring me down. It used to be where I just hope those things are at a minimum. But it turns out that strategy of mine of just hoping is pretty piss poor. So now I take charge of my day by starting with red light therapy thanks to Bond Charge and their Supermax red light panel. I've always done morning stretches, so now I do them while getting all the benefits of red light therapy with no extra time. There's a lot of legit science behind red light therapy, which is awesome. Yet my personal experiences when I start my day in front of my Bond Charge Supermax panel, my energy is better, my aches and pains are less, and my stress always feels more on the peaceful side. Whether you're looking to feel more energy, sleep better at night, reduce stress in your life, accelerate healing, or have the benefits of the anti-aging effects on your skin, On Charge can help. By the way, to really capitalize on the anti-aging benefits of red light therapy on the skin,
check out Bond Charge's red light face mask.
The battle
And to bring the
starts in
power of
5,
red light therapy
4,
into your daily
3,
routine,
2,
go to bondcharge.com/JD.
All you need to do is capture
And
the
for
mission area.
15%
Got
off,
it?
please use the discount code
따스한
JD.
하얀 눈으로 널 감싸안아.
It's officially been 100 days of Donald Trump.
I am born anew.
I'm so tired.
Healing power.
It's aging this nation and Tom Hanks.
I am at your service.
The Easy Daddy Show, I'm Jon Stewart. Tonight we're kicking off week-long coverage. Donald Trump's first 100.
I'm still warming up.
Let's call them days. Let's get into it.
Destiny awaits.
Will there be a little
Your team's
disturbance?
capture progress has passed the halfway point.
The universe has a plan. You are not a part of it. I feel better already.
Imagine me with a white beard.
Quantum match.
Tomorrow is officially the 100th day of Donald Trump's first term, and you will be very pleased to hear it is going
Healing supplies at last.
the most successful 100 days
undefeatable!
in the history of our country. Suck it, Jefferson! Suck it, Lincoln! Suck it, Roosevelt! Spoiled! Fantastic! It would be like if America landed on the moon and thought you could hide on the moon, Bin Laden? Get him, boys!
Over here.
Healing power.
Did you know people make that noise when they move on the moon?
I require
Donald Trump, the most successful 100 days in the history of our country.
A nice deep freeze.
Chaos and confusion from Wall Street to Washington.
More than $6 trillion in market losses, consumer confidence plummeting.
Outrage over Musk and his Department of Government efficiency.
The showdown has legal scholars afraid that this may actually be a constitutional crisis.
Firestorm over
The Russian nuclear war raging on. Just 39% of Americans approve of the way Trump is doing his job. Lower than any past president. 100-day mark.
He has the lowest approval rating of any president in the past 80 years.
Suck it, Herbert Hoover!
the cosmos hears you.
Thanks so much. Over here. I can
Donald
heal you.
Trump's ratings are 11 points underwater. He doesn't care. He's not afraid of being underwater because he's equipped with a flotation unit protective accessory or look it up. Look up what a I had to be told.
I have
But I hate to
found
break the bad news to Donald Trump. His lowered approval rating triggers Chuck Schumer by human
supplies at last.
You remember.
We're going to keep at it until he goes below 40.
He's below 40 now.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Trump is going after free speech at universities. How will you destroy Trump now that he's below 40%?
So we sent him a very strong letter just the other day, asking 8 very strong questions.
Question 1.
Where there is
Why
evil in this
is
universe,
this university
I will be there to balance
different
it.
from all other universities? Wait, that's the wrong book. Hold on.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
So while we wait for those strongly worded questions to work their magic, let's take a look at why so many people might be unhappy with Trump's performance. It might have something to do with the gap between what Trump promised and what he's delivered. For instance, the economy.
America's going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. I think our economy is going to roar. I think our stock market's going to do great. When I win the election, we will immediately begin a brand new Trump economic boom. It'll be a boom.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Unfortunately, I do think it's pretty clear that on the economy, Donald Trump did make a boom boom. A little boom boom. Oh, the Dr. Trump will go boom boom. Perhaps Trump feels so positive because while the economy has had its out for most people, there have been some winners.
Donald Trump's net worth more than doubling. President Trump's New coin worth about $2.5 billion. Committing about $1 billion in work for the administration to reach a $10 million settlement with Donald Trump. ABC gets $15 million to President Trump's library.
Meta giving $25 million.
Amazon, Jeff Bezos is paying $40 million to license a documentary. Born again!
Free market. You guys are making billions and billions of dollars. $40 million for a documentary about Melania Trump. No, she's crazy in person. But PBS made the entirety of the Ken Burns Civil War series for $3.5 million. Show up! With $3 million. I think, obviously, they wanted 4, but they still got a good price. The entirety of the Planet Earth series, 11 episodes. What's less than that? $25 million. And they don't allow you to I guarantee you don't have to wait outside your house for weeks at a time, hoping to catch a rare nocturnal feeding on a strike.
We are undefeatable!
40 million? So Trump is finally doing great.
We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country, and we are going to start with violent criminals. We're going to get people out that are criminals and horrible people. Hannibal Lecter is coming in, lots of them.
Lots of them. So many of them. It's like that Timothy Chalamet look-alike event. But for Hannibal Lecters.
We must retreat. I feel better already.
Wouldn't massing a bunch of Hannibal Lecters around the border be a solution for immigration? There was a line here yesterday. Now it's just shoes and empty Chianti bottles. So are we taking out the Lecters? The worst of the worst?
Last week's deportations included 3 American children, all U.S. citizens. One of them is battling cancer.
God. Are you... What? That's deported? Trump really doesn't understand how the Make-A-Wish Foundation works, does he? The cancer kid is the one who gets the wish, Trump.
I have risen.
Oh, I'm sorry. The audience will go with you on a lot. But there are certain moments where I feel their physical pain.
We are undefeatable!
So that's not working out. What about religion?
We ought to bring religion back into our country and let it get stronger and bigger and better, as I say.
Yes! Christianity! Bigger! Stronger! Uncut!
Maximum force again! By the eye of Agamotto!
But fine. How's that promise going?
J.D. Vance was one of the last people to see Pope Francis alive, having a meeting with him the day before he died.
J.D. Vance, don't you understand how Make-A-Wish works? Jessica Diane Vance! What did you do to this man?